To the untrained eye, Super Monkey Ball may appear to be innocent enough. It may appear to be cartoony, bright and cheery. At a glance, some would even dismiss it as a mere kid's game, or one that anybody could pick up and breeze through without a care in the world. But believe me, this game is far from that. I'm FibreOpticBroadbean, and this is the compelling challenge of Super Monkey Ball. It's a fairly simple concept. All you've got to do is roll your monkey into the goal by tilting a stage around using the control stick. It's based on those marble maze things, and sure, this all seems unassuming enough on a surface level. The game starts off fairly easily as well. The levels in the beginning are pretty simple to navigate. They don't have too many obstacles and even have guardrails at times to stop you from falling to your death. But do not be deceived. This game is doing nothing but lulling you into a false sense of security for the unholy challenges that lie ahead. Beginner mode is fair enough and gives you a general idea of what you can expect to see in the game. You got a few ramps, a few jumps, some moving platforms and winding paths. There's even a shortcut over here. By completing these stages, you start to get a general feel for this game and its physics, but there's nothing too extreme here, so it's a solid introduction. However, this is just a small taste, a tiny sample of what's to come. The next difficulty up, Advanced, is where things start to heat up a little. This is where the game starts to test you. This is where you see the level of precision required of you, where you start to see what makes Monkey Ball truly great. Gone are the guardrails from beginner mode. From here on out, it's no more freebies, and the game wants you to know that. A few of them are fairly straightforward, but if you don't know the ropes by this point, you're gonna struggle here. The paths become thinner, the obstacles become more prevalent, and the stages are overall just wackier. New elements are introduced, like bumpers, which can send you to an untimely demise if you're not careful. And the game really starts to play with the physics engine a lot more here. You'll find quite a few steep ramps which require you to build up or maintain momentum to get over, alongside these things which move in and out depending on how you tilt the stage, essentially requiring you to make your own path to the goal. And then you reach the final stage, which speaks for itself. It's intimidating to even look at and takes a lot of trial and error to figure out. This stage, along with several others in this difficulty, provide a really cool challenge that will put your skills to the test. But if you thought that was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. Enter Expert Mode. From here on out, it's no holds barred. These stages will push you to the limit. You will constantly have to be on the edge, making ridiculously precise maneuvers in the hopes that you don't die. But trust me on this one, you will die a lot. The first few stages aren't too bad, but then you hit stage 7 and I mean, one look at this thing and you know you're in for a bumpy ride. Thin balance beams, very steep ramps, this very long winding narrow path, and this stupid checkerboard that I always seem to die on. Why? This stage tests you on all fronts and is leagues above anything you've faced in the past. Whether it should be this early on in expert mode is debatable, because I will admit that smooth difficulty progression isn't this game's strongest front, but the sheer impact this stage has is undeniable. This, however, is only the beginning. The game never ceases to challenge you in ways you didn't even know were possible, and that's just the brilliant thing about it. Every stage is essentially a new puzzle to figure out, and no matter how many times you fail, the game always lures you in, hook, line and sinker, with the excitement of finding out whatever's in store for you next. Sure, you may be frustrated, sure, you may feel an intense hatred for this game's developers, but you just have to keep on playing. Just look at this, and what's even happening here? These stages are so far removed from the original Marble Madness style that this game was inspired by. It's unrecognizable at this point. The game has its own identity, and that identity is one of the biggest things that Super Monkey Ball has going for it. From the charming character designs to the catchy tunes to all the little nuances and sound effects, this game really builds up a strong and distinct personality of its own. And that uniqueness obviously applies to the stages as well. Even now, after all this time, I still remember almost every single one of these stages. If you were to show me a level from this game, I'd still be able to tell you where it's from in the game, what it involves and how to beat it. It just goes to show how memorable each and every one of these levels is. One of the things thing that sticks out about this game is the way that it rewards you the more you improve. For example, in some of these levels, there are these alternative goals in harder to reach areas which you can go to get some bonus points and even skip out some stages entirely. Definitely a worthwhile reward, but you absolutely need to have the skills to overcome the risk. Those aren't the only shortcuts you can take, however, and this is another place where the game shines. You're not only rewarded for the improvements you make, but equally for experimentation. These levels are designed in a way that practically begs to be exploited and toyed with. Sure, you could beat a level in the way that it's intended, but where's the fun in that? Why not launch yourself off the edge and skip a huge portion of a level? The game encourages you to beat its levels in your own way and hone your route to the goal as much as possible. While in the main mode you have a limited amount of lives, in the very handy practice mode you can sharpen your skills as much as necessary and refine your technique to perfection. And believe me, you will want to get as good at this game as possible, because each difficulty level has its own set of extra levels, which you can only access by beating them with no continues. These stages make the normal ones look like a joke, but as you'd expect, even getting to them is a huge challenge in itself. The beginner extra levels are relatively tame, the advanced ones are pretty challenging. I mean, just look at this, like how? I'm not even good enough at the game to get to the expert extra levels, but they do not look easy. The thing is, the game isn't even done there. If you somehow, by some miracle, beat both expert and expert extra consecutively without using a continue, bearing in mind you only get 3 lives per continue, might I add, then and only then do you unlock master mode, which features 10 of the most challenging stages that the entire series has to offer. There is nobody I respect more than the people who manage to unlock this mode, because that takes serious dedication. I swear, I am going to do it myself one day, no matter how long it takes. The thing is, that's just the single player experience. The game also has some really awesome multiplayer modes to boot. Alongside playing through the standard game with local multiplayer, Monkey Ball also features 6 different minigames. Monkey Race is pretty much what you'd expect. Tearing up the track as a monkey in a ball. It's a nice distraction from the main game and is very chaotic thanks to the surplus of items to ruin your day. But if it's more chaos you seek, look no further than Monkey Fight. This is a top-down minigame where you have to try and knock the other monkeys off an arena with a boxing glove as many times as you can to rack up points. It's stupidly hectic and a ton of fun thanks to the different power-ups, which give you a bigger fist, longer reach, or this. Monkey Bowling is solid and gets the job done, nothing too special, but there's definitely some fun to be had here. Similarly, Monkey Golf is also a fun time, and clearly had a lot of effort poured into it. I mean, there's a full course of 18 holes to play through. Then there's Monkey Billiards, which I've spent a surprising amount of time on. For some reason, I just really like this one. Maybe it's just a combination of the tight gameplay and of course the really chill music. And finally, we have the legendary Monkey Target. This one is so good. You've got to roll down this huge ramp to build up speed, open up the ball, glide your monkey over to a target and try your best to land on it. Each level has multiple targets you can go for, some of which are harder to land on than others, but you'll get a different amount of points depending on where you land on each target. Generally, the more difficult spots will bag you more points. More layers of depth are added with the power-ups, which can help you out by making you roll less upon landing, for example, and the Wheel of Danger, which can add different elements such as bombs and spike bombs to make things harder for you. All in all, this is a really fun collection of 6 very solid minigames and is definitely one of the highlights of multiplayer on the GameCube. Despite being brutal, despite being unforgiving, Super Monkey Ball is absolutely incredible and is easily one of my favourite games of all time. When the topic of GameCube titles comes up, this little game always seems to worm its way in alongside the greats like Melee and Wind Waker, but that's for good reason. It's packed full to the brim with amazing content that will make you want to pick up your GameCube by its lunchbox handle and throw it out of the window, and is ridiculously addictive. Whether it's the nail-biting challenges of the main mode or the chaos of the multiplayer modes, you are sure to have an absolute blast with this game. Up until a recent announcement, however, the Super Monkey Ball series wasn't doing so well. Ever since the release of the rather underwhelming Banana Blitz on the Wii, things had been going downhill for IA and the gang. But now, with the inbound release of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, it looks like the series is finally returning to form, and about time too. I am genuinely so excited for it to come out. It looks so good. I can't wait to relive these incredible stages in HD after so long. It's gonna be... Wait. Hold on. Oh no. Oh no.